Tottenham vs Borussia Dortmund, Champions League latest score, goals and updates from WembleyTottenham. Won their two previous encounters with Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Dortmund have never failed to score against Tottenham in European competition. Raphael Guerreiro has scored 4 of Borussia Dortmund's last 5 goals in the Champions League. 8 of Tottenham's 9 goals in the Champions League this season have come in the second half. Tottenham XI, Lloris, Aurier, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Foyth, Vertonghen, Winks, Sissoko, Eriksen, Lucas, Son. Borussia Dortmund XI, Burki, Hakimi, Zagadou, Diallo, Schmelzer, Witsel, Delaney, Dahoud, Sancho, Pulisic, Gotze Prince. Spurs fans already sounding super confident. I will suggest going into this game with caution, plan and staying disciplined. This is the Champions League. Sully, Jadon Sancho is enjoying his football right now, and tonight is the right stage to showcase his talent to the whole world, and we are watching. James, as usual, overhyping young talents and overloading them to perform where impossible. English media must learn from France and Spain. You never get this overrating of players, no matter how good they are. Mauricio Pochettino, writing in his program notes, to test yourselves against the best players in the world on the big nights like this is why we play football, and what a stage to perform on. We want to make use of our home advantage this evening and take a lead to Germany for the second leg, and a big atmosphere can help that. The number of late goals we have scored recently is demonstrative of the character and determination of the special set of players who simply refuse to give up and continue to make us all proud. Tottenham will be looking to keep Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho out of the headlines tonight. A task easier said than done. This guy is a bit special. Sancho's story has been well publicized this year following the decision to turn his back on Manchester City in August 21 in order to get more game time. One that has seen him burst into the limelight. He will be one of Dortmund's main threats, but Mauricio Pochettino isn't surprised. We have seen the quality that he was showing in Manchester City or in his national team, he said. I think we were talking in the last few years that he was a massive prospect to be a very good player. Joe, on train to Wembley from Plymouth for Spurs v Dortmund, his birthday treat for my soon-to-be 1-year-old. Predicting a Sancho wonder goal gonna be tight. Back to school tomorrow. If we make midnight sleeper from Paddington, Oliver, obviously injuries have played a part, but a sign of Juan Foyth's development that he's gone from out of the CL squad entirely to starting a crucial knockout game nonetheless. John, Poch hoping not to concede tonight. Would expect 3 at the back with Aurier and Vertonghen as wing backs. The pace of Son and Lucas will be important with Lloris off the bench as an alternative. Vital, we're still in the tie after 9 minutes. Just a reminder, shameless plug, that we've got coverage of over on a different page. Sergio Ramos is ready to play his 6th game for the club tonight. I'm sure Liverpool supporters and the rest of world are wishing him the best of luck. Ajax, Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Blind, Tagliafico, Schoen, De Jong, Ziyech, Van de Beek, Neers, Tadic. Real Madrid, Courtois, Carvajal, Nacho, Ramos, Reguilon, Modric, Casemiro, Cruz, Bale, Benzema, Vinicius. Son Heung-min has scored more goals against Borussia Dortmund in his senior club career than he has against any other opponent, 8 goals in 1 games. Places a small wager on Son finding the net tonight. Tottenham are expecting an incredible 5 at Wembley tonight. Incredible support. I guess they were saving themselves by not attending the Premier League clash with Watford. Just the 29k for that, Mauricio Pochettino called it from an early point, but there was still a sliver of hope that Harry Kane might have been fit enough to make the bench for Tottenham given his recovery from an ankle injury has gone better than expected. Kane is back in training and looked to be moving well on social media videos he has posted over the last couple of weeks, though when he did not appear during the 15-minute open session at Hotspur Way on Tuesday morning the writing was on the wall. Delaney, who is also back in training, is not fit enough either, but both are expected to make it for the second leg. Fingers crossed they won't have a mountain to climb when they do return. Here's the lineups for tonight's clash. A quick glance tells me that Son is starting as a striker with Toby Alderweireld back in defense. Jan Vertonghen to play left back? There's also a start for Jadon Sancho, who we'll be discussing in just a moment. Tottenham XI, Lloris, Aurier, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Foyth, Vertonghen, Winks, Sissoko, Eriksen, Lucas, Son. Subs: Gazzaniga, Trippier, Rose, Skip, Wanyama, Lamela, Llorente. Borussia Dortmund XI, Burki, Hakimi, Zagadou, Diallo, Schmelzer, Witsel, Delaney, Dahoud, Sancho, Pulisic, Gotze. Subs: Hitz, Schmelzer, Balerdi, Guerreiro, Wolf, Brun Larsen, Philip. Tottenham vs Borussia Dortmund isn't the only ticket in town tonight, folks. Elsewhere in the Champions League, Real Madrid are making the trip to Ajax, looking for a good start in their quest to win a ridiculous fourth successive Champions League title. Hope they packed a few cans of Red Bull though. And that's because some pesky Ajax supporters set fireworks off outside the Real Madrid team hotel last night. I say pesky, I actually mean total B. There was a sense that Spurs blew it last season when they lost to Juventus in the last 16. Bit of an understatement, they had negotiated their way to top spot in a group stage containing Real Madrid and Dortmund, and then brought a 2-2 draw back from Juventus in the first leg before conceding 2 goals in 3 minutes in the second leg to crash out. On paper this appears an easier tie for Spurs to navigate than the Juve one, though it is also undoubtedly a much sterner test than when facing Dortmund last year. Spurs are yet to win a home knockout game in the Champions League, having drawn against Inter Milan and lost to Juve in previous attempts. Tonight would be a good place to start. Mauricio Pochettino has openly admitted that playing at Wembley is beginning to have a negative impact on his side as the wait for their new stadium to open goes on. They have won their last 3 games there, not in exactly convincing fashion, but attendances have dwindled with just 29 fans turning up for the recent midweek win over Watford. Pochettino and Jan Vertonghen have both produced rallying cries in an attempt to get the fans to produce an atmosphere that can inspire the team and that will be important as Spurs will want to take a positive result to Dortmund for next month's second leg. Hoggy, as a Spurs fan you very rarely feel confident before any game, but I think it's fair to say I'm mildly terrified about tonight. We've been blagging results for a while now, and that won't cut it against Dortmund. We could get proper mugged off tonight. Nick, tonight I couldn't want Dortmund to beat Spurs more. That commute home was awful. Come on Dortmund, and, in theory Dortmund should be easier than Juventus last year, but knowing Spurs will make it the hardest match of the season. You an Arsenal fan by any chance, Nick? Manchester United were the first Premier League side in knockout action last night, but it didn't exactly go to plan. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer suffered his first defeat as caretaker manager, and Paul Pogba was sent off as Angel Di Maria returned to haunt his former club and help PSG take control of the last 16 tie. Both sides have also been charged for, well, just about everything. United have been charged with throwing objects and having stairways blocked, PSG with throwing objects, setting off fireworks, acts of damage and crowd disturbance. Oh, and a beer bottle was thrown from the crowd towards Angel Di Maria, who responded by picking it up and pretending to take a swig. Top Bants. Hello everyone and welcome to our coverage of the Champions League. It's been dubbed Wicked Wednesday by absolutely nobody, but I felt like adding some razzmatazz to the occasion as Tottenham welcomed Borussia Dortmund to Wembley. Couldn't help myself. Anyway, it's one for the football purists tonight as two sides who promote youth and advocate free-flowing football meet in the last 16 first leg. Tottenham won their two previous encounters with Dortmund in the Champions League, but tonight could be a different proposition. Spurs are without a host of first-team stars, while Lucien Favre's side are bossing Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. Should be a corker. Let's get this started. Tottenham will hand a fitness test to Danny Rose ahead of the Champions League clash with Borussia Dortmund. Rose suffered a wound to his shin in Sunday's win over Leicester and will be assessed. Harry Kane, ankle, Dele Alli, hamstring, and Ben Davies, groin, are all injured, but Eric Dyer, virus, and Eric Lamela, back spasm, are fit. Borussia Dortmund captain Marco Reus has been ruled out due to a thigh injury. Reus, who has won goals for Dortmund in all competitions and is the club's leading scorer, injured his thigh during their German Cup defeat by Werder Bremen last week and missed their draw with Hoffenheim in the league at the weekend. We would, of course, have liked to have him in London because his presence is a bit intimidating for the opponent, Dortmund official Sebastian Kehl told reporters. But we'll compensate for his absence. Lloris, Gazzaniga, Trippier, Alderweireld, Aurier, Sanchez, Rose, Dyer, Walker-Peters, Sissoko, Foyth, Winks, Maura, Eriksen, Skip, Son, Lamela, Llorente,